video on Chicken Pilaf recipe 2, cheap and cheerful version. I'm just going to change a few slight things with it, but it's fundamentally going to be the same, so it's kind of an experiment, but a little bit different. So the first time I made it, I soaked the rice because I was worried about the rice being a little bit hard. The rice turned out to be fine, so I'm going to risk it, and I have toasted the rice today. So toasting it, you can either do it two ways. You can do it in the oven or a baking tray, no oil or anything like that, and just toast it in the oven, 150 degrees, 200 degrees. Keep an eye on it, just keep moving it around, and then you toast it like that, or you can do it in a dry frying pan on top of the stove, medium heat. Just get it to colour, keep moving it around, making sure it doesn't burn. The problem is it burns quickly, so you need to keep an eye on it and you need to keep moving around. If you kind of walk away for a minute, you might even start burning it if you don't keep watching it. So you just need to keep your eye on it. But it's got, as you can see, it's kind of like toasted. You can see that-ish, but that compared to the rice that I didn't toast. So there we go. So it's still using the cheap rice. We'll see how it goes with the toasting. That will add just a little bit more flavour. So I'm just kind of quite curious about that. I've got stock cubes again. I'm going to use 3 stock cubes today. I'm going to compensate using the 3 stock cubes instead of the 4 with a little bit of turmeric, just out of interest, and a little bit of salt. This time I probably will forget to put some pepper in, but if I can remember, I'll put some pepper in. But I tend to, yeah, I just forgot. So, but I might put some pepper in. And I've got these, which are free. These are the seeds from some butternut squash, which I always save, I always dry. So what I've just done is same as the rice, I've just toasted them in the frying pan afterwards. After I did the rice, can't really do them at the same time because these want to toast quicker due to the fat content, and they've still got a little bit of butternut on the outside of them. So the fat content and that kind of makes them want to burn a little bit quicker. So you just have to do them separately rather than together. 2 onions again, 250 grams, and this time we're going to use. Oh yeah, I will mention. Yeah, so it is cheap, like smart price Asda long grain rice. I didn't want you to think that was cheating and using a different type of rice than the one that was already in the packet. So that packet, I didn't want to open that packet until I used the other packet. So that is the packet that I've used for the rice. I didn't want you to think I was cheating. I hate that idea that someone doesn't do exactly what they say they're going to do. So yes, and then we've got chicken. It's a whole chicken today. Slightly more expensive than the chicken thighs. It comes at £2.38, and it's, how much does it weigh? That's per kilo. And it weighs 1.273 kilos. So 1 kilo 273 grams. Same process. We're going to brown that off. I'm not going to joint it. I'll show you what I'm going to do to it. I'm going to cut the fat off. Same process again, but we just get different bits of fat. I might not add as much fat. I think there's going to be more fat with this, with the whole chicken, because you tend to. There's these bits of flappy skin there and there, so there's going to be quite. I think there's going to be a little bit more fat, and I'm going to put in the. I'm going to chop up the parson's nose and maybe a bit of that fat off there, and that's what I'm going to use to render that down, and that's what I'm going to that's what I'm going to fry the chicken with. We also, with the chicken, just need to take out the wishbone. I have done videos before on that, taking out wishbones, so we just need to get that there. And if you don't have to do this, it just makes it easier to carve afterwards. So it's just there and there, and you can feel it. You can feel the ridge with your finger when you move it like that. That looks obscene what I've just done. I apologise. So that bit there, and it's just a case of knife down one side, knife down the other, knife along there, knife along there. Careful, come up this way. They're not easy to get out. I'm not gonna. There's no kind of. They're just difficult. There's no kind of way. And then a bit of a twist and a snap and a pull, and then we'll kind of pull those out. I will put. There's a bit of meat on that and a bit of bone, and so where there's meat and there's bone, there's flavour. So that will go in with pilaf. So obviously, someone's not gonna. If they put that in the mouth, they know they're gonna put it in the mouth. So we'll trim those bits off. I was thinking about this while I was swimming, and I was thinking if what I potentially would do when I would spatchcock this chicken, which means that you take out the backbone along there, so you cut along there, each side of the backbone, and then you can flatten the chicken out. Potentially that would be a good idea to do in this scenario, because then you would get that nice bit of bone which you could freeze and turn into stock, and I would also whip those bits off there, just the end of the wings, and I would save that for stock as well. And then spatchcock it out. At some point, you can watch videos on spatchcocking chicken, but potentially I would do that if I was doing this, but I don't want to do that. What I want to do today is I want to keep it whole. So as before, we're going to fry it off in the pan. I'll show you me frying it off, and sometimes they come already, chickens come trussed up, so it's all tucked in together, and it's got an elastic band around everything, so it sits like that with an elastic band tying the feet and the wings together. It's just advisable if you're frying off, giving the colour to the chicken, it's advisable to leave the rubber band on, and then it holds things together, so it's easier to move around the pan. So you fry the breasts and you fry the legs, turn it all around, get everything a nice colour all over, and then when you're cooking it, because you kind of want the heat to get through to everything, it's better off just to take the rubber band off, and then heat can penetrate right in there and all that type of thing. And what I'm also going to do is, because breast cooks a lot quicker than legs, we're going to score the legs on the bottom, just so the heat can get in there a lot quicker. And because it's going to take longer to cook whole chicken than it did the chicken thighs, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to poach the chicken in the stock that I'm going to use to cook the pilaf, maybe for 15-20 minutes, something like that, just to give it like a burst of heat, so it speeds up the cooking process. Because the rice is like I did with the other pilaf dish, the rice was done in 25-30 minutes. There's no way that's going to be cooked in that amount of time, so we need to inject some heat into that quickly and then add the rice, and that's it. But anyway, so I'll cut some fat off these bits here, we'll chop it up small, we'll render it down, we'll take that out of the pan, we'll fry the bird, which you'll see, and then we'll poach it in the liquor, you'll see that bit, and then we'll add the ingredients, and then we'll cook it in the oven again. Although I might cook it into other stuff, we'll see. I haven't decided yet, but I'm waffling as always. I'll stop and we'll come back in a bit. So, frying off the chicken. It's just a simple case of there's 4 sides that you want to colour. And what I've done is I've just tied up the legs. I've just trussed it with a bit of elastic, so I can't caramelise the bottom. Otherwise, we can't. No, because I don't want to burn the elastic. As you can see, I've just sliced into the chicken legs, and it's just a case. So there's 4 sides that you want to caramelise. You want to caramelise the breast, and you want to caramelise. So you need to caramelise that bit there. You need to caramelise the other breast, which is that side down in the pan, and then you need to caramelise the legs. So that's just a case of putting that up against the side of the pan there. So there, the legs and the chickens get a bit of colour. The legs and the wings get a little bit of colour. So now that's all got a nice bit of colour, it's like, so there's like 4 sides you want to do. This side, the breast, the other breast, and the other side of that. Those are the 4 sides that you want to give a bit of colour. So, as you can see, chicken's got a nice bit of colour. We just need to cook the onions, turn the pan down slightly. There's not as much fat as there was yesterday when I made the pilaf. So we'll see how that turns out. So just soften the onions, give them some colour. You don't need to see that, but that's what we're going to do. We'll just soften those, give them some colour. They'll lift up any caramelised bits off the bottom of the pan, and then we're going to put the chicken back in there, and then we're going to poach it for 15-20 minutes. What I've done is I've boiled up the water, and then I put in 3 stock cubes, a heaped teaspoon of turmeric, and 2 good pinches of salt, and tasted it, and that's about kind of like the saltiness of what the pilaf tasted the other day. So it's kind of, we're kind of working on the same kind of ground. So we'll pause, we'll come back when the onions are coloured, and then we'll add the chicken back and put the stock in, and then we'll cook it, and then we'll add the rice, and then we'll finish off the cooking. So that's it. I don't want to waffle too much, but you'll see how far I take the onions. By how far I mean how caramelised like coloured they become. That's like a bit of a chefy term actually, how to take things like how far you're going to take them. Seems strange, but anyway, the kitchen's filling up with smoke. I need to turn the extractor fan back on, so we'll stop. Right, the onions are as far as I want to take them. They've got a little bit of colour. They're starting to sweeten up. I have put pepper in today. So we will now put the chicken in, and any juices that came out of the chicken. I'm just going to snip the elastic that I used. As I explained before, just having the chicken open means that it's certainly going to cook a lot quicker, a lot evener. So the onions can stay in, there's no point moving them out. And then cooking liquid on top. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Like that. Bit of mess in my bowl with the turmeric. So that's going to come up to the boil quite quickly. We'll just get this. There we go. That's that. So once it comes up to boil, we'll put the lid on and then we'll cook it slowly for 20 minutes or so. What will happen is most of it will steam, but we'll start getting some. The legs might fall down a bit. These might. So we might just do that. We'll just cut there and cut there, and then the legs drop down a bit and cook in that juice. Just that little bit simple. So we're coming up to temperature. We're not going to put the rice in. We're just going to put the lid on now. So turn it down, lid on. 15-20 minutes. We'll come back. We'll have a look at it. We'll see how it goes. The chicken has had 40 minutes because I didn't think it was just kind of quite cooked enough, because the rice is going to be done in 20-30 minutes. So it's had 40 minutes on a slow simmer. So what we'll do is we'll move all the we'll pour all the rice all around it, and then we'll do the same with the. In fact, we'll mix all that together, and then we'll hopefully get some kind of equal dispersion. What was the wrong word? We'll go in there, down the side, and there. Bit murky, if I'm honest, is the water, but the rice will soak up any kind of flavour and colour, and we'll see how it goes. So it might be a bit beige, or more beige than I would have liked, but we'll kind of see. So we'll give it a boil, bring it up to the boil, and then we'll kind of that'll get things moving. I did have a spoon. I have got a spoon. So we'll just get rid of those off the top there. We don't want raw rice. A bit splashy. I'm sure there'll be enough liquid to cook the rice. That will get pushed down there. So hopefully, with the liquid boiling, that'll move everything so it's all the rice is equally dispersed throughout the pan. Hopefully, fingers crossed. If we chew on a bit of hard rice, it'll just be hard rice. So that's there. What we'll do, we know that the rice will puff up and it'll come up at the sides of the chicken, and it'll look pretty good with the nuts on top as well. So temperature up to a boil, and then we'll go into the oven. Just by boiling things before you put them in the oven, it just speeds up the cooking process when you put things in the oven. So the basic rule is anything that it takes double the amount of time in the oven than it would on the top of the stove. So if you can cut down the cooking time in the oven, I think that's a good thing. It saves you a little bit of fuel and a little bit of money type of thing. So we'll bring it up to the boil, which is almost there, and then in the oven for 25-30 minutes. But the rice was nice and soft yesterday. I know you're supposed to have rice with a bit of bite to it, but sometimes I kind of quite like soft rice. And because the rice is fluffy and very starchy, at some point I think I should have a play around with the. We turn it into like a long grain rice risotto. So it might work out okay, but we'll have a play around with that sometime in the future. But that'd certainly make an extremely cheap meal, because it's only 45p for a kilo. So up to the boil, turn it off, lid on, in the oven at 150 for 25-30 minutes. So it's had half an hour and it is now ready. Ooh, we might just need to. Oh no, we don't. That's fine. We don't need to clean the camera. That's fine. So all the seeds have come to the top. I'm not going to class the seeds as costing anything because I got those. Ordinarily, you just kind of throw the seeds away from the pumpkin, but I keep them, so therefore that's free. So rice is cooked, nice and fluffy. It tastes nice because I've already pulled the top off and had a look. Of course I did. So it is cooked. So I'm not entirely sure which the best way would be to pull the chicken out. Probably kind of scoop some of the rice out, and then kind of like dig a leg out type of thing, instead of lifting the chicken out. I think that'd be kind of quite difficult. So it is nice. I've tasted it, so we don't need to kind of do anything like that. And it's the same recipe as the chicken pilaf I've done before. So I'll write the recipe down. If I think if a teaspoon of turmeric's too much, I don't think it will be. I think it was just the right amount. But I'll adjust the recipe that I write down in the description to what I think should be better. But I think that'll be a good recipe that I kind of like listed, and it'll be the same as the one that I write down. So that's it. So it's going to be slightly more expensive than the other pilaf recipe because it was whole chicken rather than just thighs. So thighs are the cheapest way to buy chicken, and then whole chickens are just a little bit more expensive, but not that much. And also you get the added bonus of the bones cooking into the stock, making it a little bit more jelly. And not everyone likes leg meat. Some people are like breast meat. I much prefer the leg meat and the wings as opposed to the breast. So if you're cooking for more people, and people kind of go, that's the noise they make when they don't like something. I don't like leg. They can have breast. But if someone said to me, I don't like leg at all, I'd happily sit there and eat all the legs and all the wings and suck the meat off the carcass as well, and they could have the boring, bland, in my eyes, breast meat. But that's it. So it should carve easily because I've taken the wishbone out. I did throw the wishbone in to cook, so that'll be in there somewhere. But that is pilaf, chicken pilaf, quite a cheap one. I'll list how much it is, but I haven't worked it out yet. I'm just going to eat this one. But there we go. That's it. I think that's it. Yeah, sure that's it. Yeah, of course it's it. I'll just record this bit so you can actually see that I'm not lying about it being cooked. So I've got some of the rice out, and the chicken is that tender that I can just pull the leg away from the carcass, like so. It's like, I don't want to burn myself. Yeah, so that's fine. I'll dig down and I'll get some more, a little bit more bone there. That's fine. And if you want to see about, have I got the knife about? Ooh. Ah, there we go. So I've got knife. If you want to see how to sort out the breast and take that off the bone, it's just a simple case of running your knife down there and then prising it away from the bone like that, and then it'll just pop off in one piece. But as you can see there, nice and juicy. That'll be lovely with that. But we'll just put that back there. I might save that for sandwiches or something later on. But that'll be lovely with that. So yeah. So what do we say? 40 minutes poaching, and then 25 minutes in the oven with the rice, and then it'll be perfect and it'll be lovely. There we go. Chicken pilaf.